What's good, everybody? I'm BPC and welcome to Competitive Origins MMA. Now, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell, or else you'll never know when our videos go live. And make sure to ground and pound that like button. Now, today's topic is Kevin Trailblazer Holland the UFC's next star? And I'll talk more about that in just a moment. But first, I want to point out that I'm wearing a Competitive Origins Whatever It Takes t-shirt. And you can do whatever it takes and go to competitiveorigins.com. If you type in promo code MMA22, you'll get 10% off your order. Now, a portion of the proceeds will go towards the channel so we can provide a better experience for you guys at home. You've been competing since conception, whether you're competing against yourself or others, Competitive Origins. Now, Kevin Trailblazer Holland basically started his UFC career on Dana White's Contender Series in 2018. And he got the victory, but he wasn't signed to a UFC deal. See, Dana White has said that he talked too much, and why did he want somebody that did all that talking? So he passed on him, but he did, Dana did give him this nickname, Big Mouth. Now, about 2 months later, a fighter had fell out, and they needed an opponent for Thiago Santos. See, this is before Thiago Santos was fighting at light heavyweight. He was originally a middleweight fighter, or at least this fight was at middleweight. So they said, we need somebody to fill on a last minute's notice. Who can we get? And they said, you know what? Let's give this guy a chance. Call up Kevin. Let's call up Big Mouth and see if he's interested to take on this fight. And he did. He showed up and he did his thing. Now, he did lose the decision. It went to Thiago, but Dana said, you know what, this kid has promise. You know what I mean? This kid has something going for him, so let's give him a deal. Let's keep him on the team and then see where he goes. Well, the next 8 fights, he ends up winning 7 out of them, which is great, And, in 2020 alone, he's knocked out 4 wins in just 5.5 months. Now, we're all thinking, all right, is he legit? He has gotten some notable victories against some people like Joaquin Buckley, who, had some amazing wins as of late, and he's basically knocked him out. So, here he is kind of laying down his claim as he's the next star for the UFC. Now, moving forward, he gets the opportunity to go against Jacare Souza. Now, Jacare Souza is, an awesome fighter, jiu-jitsu legend, and a really, really great, mixed martial artist. And the only reason why he's not ranked in middleweight currently is because he went to go fight light heavyweight. Now, he came back down to middleweight, and like I said, this is definitely a ranked fighter. He just doesn't have the ranking, next to his name. And, he got the chance to go up against this individual. Now, Kevin did a great job, and the end result. When I start the beginning, though, it was a little scary because Jacare, took him down, and Jacare held him there, and it was kind of like, all right, shoot, this isn't good. He does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Kevin's not going to be able to handle this guy. What's going to take place? And, he got out of it, and, Jacare got him back down to the ground, and it's like, oh, shoot, like, he keeps taking him down. Like, is Kevin going to be able to actually win this fight against somebody at this high skill level? Well, he ends up punching Jacare in the forehead, which actually stuns him. And then he starts leveling punches as he gets up, basically knocking him out, and his eyes rolled in the back of the head, and he got several shots in, and then finally the referee called it. Now, should have Kevin, stopped hitting him? I think so. It was a little bit too much, Like you said, he saw the guy's eyes roll to the back of his head. He knew he had the victory. It was only a matter of time before the referee was going to get in there and stop it. He probably didn't have a clear view of it, and that's why he chose not to stop it. But Kevin Holland got the knockout. And maybe the reason why the referee took so long is because Kevin had done something that most, people in the MMA haven't seen, which is knock somebody out basically on your back. And that's what Kevin was able to do. Now, Kevin basically was quick to the mic. He understands the game. You're only going to make moves if you get really clear, decisive victories, you win a lot, and you use that mouthpiece, hence the name Big Mouth. So what did Kevin do? He called out Khamzat Chimaev. That's right, Khamzat Chimaev, UFC's prize boy, right? They love this guy. He fights at 170 and he fights at 185, and he's just been unstoppable so far. So Kevin said he's never fought any real tough competition, so why don't we fight later this week? So Kevin basically won this past Saturday, and now he wants to fight this upcoming Saturday, the last card of the year. And the reason why he chose this date was because Khamzat Chimaev was originally supposed to face Leon Edwards on that card, and Leon Edwards tested positive for COVID. I'll have a link to the video at the end, and you can take, have a look at all that. And basically, the fight got pushed, and I actually have another video that talks about International Fight Week, which is where the fight was rescheduled, and I'll put a link to that video at the end as well. So check those out if you want to see how that whole, how the whole fight was supposed to go, and then how it's been rescheduled, and go from there. Now, Khamzat, to my knowledge, hasn't replied back. The UFC, I highly doubt, are going to be interested in making this fight. Yes, Khamzat, does have a 170 fight scheduled for next month, but could he make 185? Absolutely. That means he's not going to have to do too much weight cutting, and to have these two go at it would be an awesome card. I would even say put these guys as the headliner over Stephen Thompson and, and go from there. But the UFC is not going to do that. The same reason why they didn't take Israel Adesanya and put him up against the guy that he just beat, recently, Paulo Costa. That's the reason why. They didn't want these guys to be fighting too early, because if you have these guys do battle and then we already have a clear-cut winner, there's no reason to set up a title fight for these guys. Now, in regards to Vettori and Adesanya, who knew that was going to happen? They both weren't as big as they are now, so if they had, been in the career a little bit longer and got some notable victories, then they definitely wouldn't have faced them up so early in their career. Now, what's the UFC going to do? Maybe down the road they might set up that Khamzat Chimaev fight against, Kevin Holland, but at the moment they're going to hold off on it. But is Kevin the next superstar? Is he UFC's next star, I should say? And the answer is yes. He might even be fighter of the year. Like I said, he's pulled off 5 victories, in 7 months, which is great. He's now at 8-1, all of a sudden. He's just been dominating this whole year. And the past 7 months have been totally his. He's racked up, I believe, more victories than any UFC fighter this year. And like I said, he's only done it in 7 months. This could make him, fighter of the year due to his consistency and his ability to keep pulling out these wins. Now, when I say, is he the next star, I truly believe it because Kevin has finally, he's gotten some knockouts here and there, but he's also fought to some decision victories. He was kind of saying that Khamzat's getting this big praise. Well, Khamzat's gotten this big praise is because he's been able to finish opponents and he's been able to dominate them in these rounds. You know what I mean? And yes, that's what's going to, regardless if it's not against high competition, it's going to get him known because people are going to say, well, is he the real deal? And everyone wants to see him go face the higher competition. So all Kevin Holland has to do is basically get victories and get some decisive victories. And that's what he did against Jacare. He basically knocked him out, somebody at a very, very high level, much higher than somebody than Chimaev has faced yet. And he's gotten the victory, so he's looking good. Now, when I say consistency is going to play a factor, you got to understand these fighters are offered about 3 fights a year. Now, if they were to fight maybe, say, 1 to 2 of these fights, the people are going to have a hard time remembering him. Of course, the hardcores will remember him, but the casuals are going to be like, okay, this is a new guy, because it's been so long since I've seen it, right? So, by him fighting on a consistent basis, his name's constantly popping up like, don't I remember this guy from that fight and from this fight and from that fight? It's kind of like how they say, on YouTube, you need to post on a consistent manner, keep pumping out content. Or like Drake, Drake, puts out his album. He has all these different singles from his album that come out, and then he has his collaborations with DJ Khaled or Future, and he's just always pumping out music. You feel like there's a brand new Drake song every week. Well, Kevin Holland is getting the victory basically every week. That's what it basically feels like, and this is why he's becoming a star so quickly. Kevin Holland wasn't really known back then. And like I said, in the past 7 months, he's really made a name for himself and he's done an excellent job and he's made some nice money. He didn't have the best of contracts, but because he's kept winning and winning and winning, he's getting, the show bonus, the win bonus, not bonus, but the show money, the win money, and then some bonus money. I believe he got a bonus this past Saturday night for his performance against Jacare Souza. So he's doing well. I think he's made over, way over $500,000 for the year, which is great. Obviously, I'm sure he'd prefer to make that per fight. But, you know, for somebody that's just now getting known, you know, it's a great opportunity for him. He's getting some money in his bank account, and he's going to be able to come back. And, you know, he says he wants to win 6 fights next year, which would be interesting to see. I totally think he can do it. Now, obviously, the UFC is going to start putting him up against heavier competition, and, you know, he might take a little bit more damage, and that might slow him down from coming back to do all these fights. But like I said, Kevin Holland is the UFC's next star. In fact, he's not the UFC's next star. He is the UFC's newest star. Kevin Holland, check him out, the Trailblazer, aka Big Mouth. I'm BPC. Go into the comment section below and let me know how you feel about Kevin the Trailblazer Holland. You know, if you think he's the newest star, if he's putting it down, or if you still think he has a long way to go. Who would you like to see him match up with next? Maybe Vettori, who just got a nice win over Hermansson. You know, there's a couple other fighters that he can go against. Maybe Gastelum. Derek Brunson. You know, there's just so many fighters. Even Jack Hermansson per se. So, you know, go into the comment section. Let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Go to competitiveorigins.com and type in promo code MMA22. Like I said, I'm BPC, and have a great day.